Hey everyone, happy Sunday to you. I hope all is well. As we wrap up our smart recovery here, we're going to spend the next couple of weeks talking about treatment settings. This upcoming week, you have a quiz on chapter 32, the process of treatment. The following week, you have chapter 34, you have a DB on relapse and other problems encountered in a treatment setting. So we're going to spend the next 2 weeks talking about treatment settings, and which is, if you're going to work with this population, it's important you're familiar with. If you've been to treatment, it's a very different experience than if you work at treatment, I assure you. That said, then your week 12, which will be our 3/4 way mark, you will have your last outside meeting to attend, and it'll be an option of Celebrate Recovery or Refuge Recovery. The difference is Celebrate Recovery is a 12-step program that is a Christian-based 12-step program, where what we refer to as 12-step programs, we're typically talking about your AA or NA or CA, that kind of thing, and where they rely on the higher power and the things. Celebrate Recovery says, no, it's not a higher power, it's the Christian God, and here's the biblical principles behind each step. Celebrate Recovery is it's a process. It's usually at a church. It's always at a church that I know of. They do some sort of testimonial up front, then they separate into gender-specific groups. They don't use the labels as well. They believe if you have hurts, habits, or hang-ups, you're welcome here. Refuge Recovery is a 12-step program based on Buddhism principles. It's a phenomenal program as well. They don't do the labels either. So we'll get more into those as we get, but that's your next, and that'll be your last meeting. Whichever one of those two you choose for this assignment, my hope is you will familiarize yourself with the other. Like, it's important we know all these resources, as I've said. So, to back up, to wrap up SMART Recovery. SMART is an acronym that stands for Self-Management and Recovery Training. They use a form of cognitive behavioral therapy called Rational Emotive Behavioral Therapy, REBT, as their foundation. And they believe you can do this work with or without a higher power, with or without God, with or without a group setting necessarily. So they're not as engaged in the community as, let's say, a 12-step program is, right? So 12-step, to compare, says they believe in the medical model. You have a disease, right, that hijacks your brain when you ingest substances, classifying it as a brain disease. You come in, you rely on this community. You work with other people within the community. You help others. You live by a set of principles they lay out for you in their 12-step philosophy. And that's in a nutshell their program. Smart Recovery is the antithesis of that. It says you don't need a higher power to do this work. You can challenge your thinking with these worksheets and tools, cognitive behavioral therapy tools, without a group, without a higher power. And we believe it's a thinking error. And by using cognitive behavioral therapy processes, we're able to challenge our thinking, reframe it, therefore having a different experience. That said, if I come to a T in the road, to the right is drinking or drug use, to the left is not. Is that a disease or a choice that makes me turn? I'll tell you, I believe it's a choice. So I think both ideals and philosophies have a lot of merit. Now, one can argue that if I have this disease, isn't it guiding my choices? Yeah, it's fair. I will take the medical model to my grave with me, given my personal experience, right? And so I believe many people we all have these internal switches. And many people who do not have a substance use disorder, if they're drinking, for example, they get a little tipsy, they're then able to flick this imaginary switch and say, I'm good. I need to stop. And most of the time they do. They may tie one on occasionally, right, that kind of thing. But overall, they're in control. For me, my experience was I have a double on switch inside. Seems like when I should be stopping, I double fish drinks, I do more drugs, I do whatever it was. That is out of my control. I will take that to my grave. It's not what I want to do. Now, I might tell you in the moment it's what I want to do. It's not in any way what I wanted to do. And I could not control that piece, right? So I think both have merit, because what is recovery? It's like anything else in life. It's a series of choices, right? There's not one pill, one shot, one doctor, one psychiatrist, one therapist, one counselor, one program, one treatment center, one group, one anything that's going to make it all better. It's a combination of many things, many variables, but it's a consistent ongoing series of choices. I have a choice to go to treatment or not go to treatment. Does treatment help? I believe so. As I've shared with you, I'm a proponent of treatment. I think the structured, secure environment makes a big difference, right? And so that said, it's still a choice for me to go. It's still a choice for me to stay. It's still a choice for me to engage. It's constant choices. I have a choice. I can drink, or I can go to this meeting, or I can do this, or this, right? So I think both have merit. And I want to remind you all that Smart Recovery 2 offers a training for students. I think I paid $50 for it years ago, and I think I've heard recently from a student that's still what it costs. I would encourage you to all take that. Whether you ever want to run a Smart Recovery group or not, if you're going to work with this population, it'll let you get to know details about the program, but two, it just reinforces cognitive behavioral therapy for you as a therapist. So really good. Like, again, guys, none of these meetings are for everybody. Some are really good for some, not so good for others. And remember, one doesn't have to be bad for another to be good. I say this every week, right? Smart Recovery doesn't have to be bad for AA to be good. NA doesn't have to be bad for Smart Recovery to be good. They're all good. They're just not always a good fit for each person, right? And so this is why, again, it's important that we get to know these resources. So I'm real grateful you guys are in this class and having this experience. Again, we'll talk in the next couple of weeks about treatment settings. I spent many years in a treatment setting, about 8 actually, and so I'm very familiar with how they work. I still work with many treatment centers today, whether through intervention or through therapy. Again, I think they hold great value overall. Does that mean every experience is good? No. But guys, we're moving through this pretty quick. I think everybody's grades are really good, so I don't think this is really an issue. I know I opened up the extra credit. Just be paying attention. If you want to increase your grade, it's there. If you don't, that's okay. I think everybody, like I said, is pretty solid in here. But as we move forward, we're on the last half now, right? The downside, these next 4, really next 2 weeks, and then you got, again, one more outside meeting, then you're done. Then we're really on the downside the last 4 weeks. So it's coming quicker than you might think. Stay on top of your stuff, keep grinding, and if I can be of any support in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'll talk soon.